The Vietnam War was a long, costly, and divisive conflict that pitted the Communist government of North Vietnam against South Vietnam and its principal ally, the United States. The conflict was intensified by the ongoing Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. More than 3 million people, including 58,220 Americans, were killed in the Vietnam War, and more than half of the dead were Vietnamese civilians. Opposition to the war in the United States bitterly divided Americans, even after President Richard Nixon ordered the withdrawal of U.S. forces in 1973.
I was drafted into the Army. That was in April of 1969. And from there I went to Fort Leonard Wood here in Missouri, which I'm glad I was close to home. It seemed like a long time in boot camp. Boot camp was a lot different than what they have today. A few months after I left Fort Leonard Wood, the president ordered an investigation of Fort Leonard Wood because of the brutality and stuff going on in their boot camp. They had a big investigation, they made a lot of changes, and things were supposed to be a lot better later on. It was pretty rough when I went through boot camp. It was different than people would expect by far. When I went to Vietnam, all the things that's on TV shows all the fighting and stuff all the time. So I'm thinking I'm going to Vietnam. It's going to land on this little grass strip and I'm going to jump off this airplane with my gun in hand and take off running for the woods. And no, it wasn't like that. We flew over there and we flew into Bien Hoa Air Base, which is right next to Long Binh, which I was stationed at. Long Binh is about probably the size of Stratford, or bigger. It may have been bigger. All concrete, buildings everywhere. When I first got there, I was a mechanic. They put us in these, they're huts, like they're just small buildings. There's like 10 or 12 people to a building, and it's just all beds in there. And every morning you get up at a certain time, we'd go eat breakfast, and then we'd line up and get on a cattle trailer. I mean, a regular cattle trailer. And this trailer had seating down each side, and you'd sit on that thing, and they'd drive us out to where we'd work, and they had these huge tents, and that's where we worked on trucks and everything. I worked on everything from the Jeeps to the 10-ton trucks there. Very wet during the rainy season. When the rainy season came, it rained every day, about the same time every day. When it rained there, it's not like rain here. If it was raining hard, it'd be hard to see you at the distance we are apart. It rained so hard, it was just unreal. And then all of a sudden it just stopped. And then it'd be nice and sunny, and it was hot, humid. I don't know, it's just a little different than here. And other times it was nice, but it was pretty hot and humid. The people in general were very, very nice. They treated us very well. We had no problems whatsoever with most of the people. A lot of the people worked on the bases that we stayed at. They did our laundry, they did cooking for us, they did a lot of the chores around base. So they were very good to us. I had no problems with any of the people there other than the people that you're actually fighting, and that was something totally different. But for just the people in general, very nice people. On one small base I was on Quan Loy. And it was just a small base. And every night at the same time in the evening, we'd get hit with mortars. You could set your watch by it. And they'd just, 3 or 4 mortars would hit and then they'd quit until the next day. You could just set your watch. One day, my bed was right at the end of the hooch. I was the last bed before you go out the door, and we was sitting there and we was playing cards, several of us. And there was a communications van sitting out, about 50 feet from the front of our hooch. And it's just a box van truck with all kinds of radios and stuff in the back of it. And there was about 4 or so of us playing cards there on my bed. And we heard a mortar come in. And so one of the guys said, he got up to go to the door to see where it hit. And one hit right outside our door when he got to the door and blowed him back in through the door. And it hit close to that communication van. We had 2 guys in that van, and both of them had a lot of shrapnel and stuff. They had to ship them out immediately. But that was one of the scariest times that we had. But there was several times that I think it was very good, very positive. By going to other countries, you learn more about the people there. You learn about different cultures. You see how other people live. For the most part, most of the people over there were very poor people, but they were very good people. I'm glad that I went. I think it made me a better person. I think it made a lot of people better. And they learned more about us, a little bit about Americans. Some of the food here, we used to get what they call like a care package from your families. They'd send you different things every now and then. I can remember extremely well getting cans of Spam. It was like getting steak. It sounds crazy, but man, that just tasted so good to get it from home. But people would send us cookies and different things, and that's really, really nice when you're away like that, because you're a long way from home. You don't see anyone you normally know. And in letters and care packages and things like that mean a lot. It means a lot. So all these people that you see sending things to soldiers and stuff now, very important to them people.
The South Vietnamese ran out of fuel, ammunition, and other supplies because U.S. Congress decided to not support the war effort, while the North Vietnamese were very well supplied by China and the Soviet Union. Communist forces ended the war by seizing control of South Vietnam in 1975, and the country was unified as the Socialist Republic of Vietnam the following year. The Vietnam War outcome allowed the following countries, the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand, to remain free of communism. The Indonesians expelled the Soviets in 1966. There is some speculation that retaining the military in Vietnam in hindsight may have prevented a nuclear war with China or Russia.